In a small town nestled in the mountains, a man and his family led a simple life. Although conditions were tough, they always had enough to eat. However, a few folks weren't content with this lifestyle and wanted to see what lay beyond the mountains, but they all failed. The most notable example was the man's father, Caesar. One day, Caesar took his son to a cave where they discovered a luminescent plant. Curiously, Aiko reached out to touch it, but was struck by an electric current emanating from the plant. Suddenly, the cave began to collapse, and Aiko tumbled into the abyss along with the falling rocks. At the critical moment, Caesar tied a rope around himself and snatched his son back from the jaws of death. Although Aiko's life was saved, the harrowing experience left him frightened. Just as they were about to reach the end of the mountain range, with Caesar's dream within grasp, Aiko got cold feet. He argued that the electric fruit could change the town's future, and there was no need to risk crossing to the other side of the mountain. The father and son clashed over their differing opinions, and the other expedition members sided with Aiko. Left with no choice, Caesar handed his compass to Aiko and ventured deep into the mountains alone, never to return. Fast forward 25 years, and Aiko now owned a farm. Using the electric fruit seeds he brought back from the expedition, he had become the most successful man in town. As the use of electric fruit became more widespread, the townspeople erected a statue in honor of the father and son. However, the good times didn't last long. One evening, as Aiko's family was preparing dinner, a violent tremor shook the earth. It turned out to be a late-night visit from Alan, a former expedition member bearing dire news. The electric fruit in the eastern region had begun to wither slowly, and at this rate, all the electric fruit would soon disappear. To save the electric fruit, Aiko decided to investigate with Alan. On the way, Alan explained that although the electric fruit appeared to be just a plant on the surface, deep underground, their roots were connected to the same living entity. They had even dug several kilometers deep to study this phenomenon, and in the process, they discovered an even vaster world. The purpose of their current journey was to uncover the truth behind the threat to the electric fruit. As their ship slowly descended into the deep pit, everything around them began to change. The first thing they saw was countless electric fruit roots. Just as Aiko marveled at the sight, they were attacked by a terrifying monster bird. The pilot lost his life, and the ship plunged deeper without anyone at the controls. They accidentally fell into a dazzling, colorful world, and Aiko and his dog were thrown out of the ship. Strangely, they escaped unharmed, but the world before them challenged Aiko's understanding. He had never seen such bizarre creatures before, and he was unaware that one of them had already set its sights on him. As Aiko moved to retrieve his dog, the blue monster summoned a helper. It extended countless tentacles towards the dog, but at the critical moment, a furry creature descended from the sky and saved them with a flamethrower. It turned out to be Aiko's long-lost father, Caesar. After parting ways with Aiko years ago, Caesar had accidentally fallen into this world. Knowing it was impossible to return to the surface, he decided to try from underground, but was blocked by a sea of corrosion. Thus, he had been trapped in this strange world for 25 years. Seeing his son before him, Caesar thought he was hallucinating until Aiko produced the compass he had left him. Only then did Caesar believe it was all real. As they walked and talked, catching up on the years apart, Caesar was thrilled to learn that Aiko had come with an expedition ship, as it meant they could fly over the sea of corrosion. However, Aiko insisted that the electric fruit was the town's future. As they spoke, Aiko accidentally stepped on a strange creature and fell into a monster's body. Caesar initially wanted to see how his son would make a fool of himself, but then noticed a card. He quickly rescued Aiko and asked whose it was. Aiko replied that it belonged to his son, and Caesar couldn't believe he was a grandfather. Without wasting a moment to celebrate, he hopped on a monster and set off to find his grandson.